shades of a Ren and Stimpy style too every once in a while, where they'll do a couple of like close-ups and you'll see a little gross detail of some kind.
I told you guys I don't know anything. And then Wendell's like, yeah, we know. We saw your report card.
He's paperboying Krabby Patties into these anchovies' mouths, Steve. I don't know how they're getting the money from them because it's just a crowd of anchovies, but somehow the transactions are happening. And instead of calling a number, he's just like, bam!
Happened in the 90s.
We're going to be talking about one of the most iconic cartoon characters of all time. One of my favorite cartoon characters, SpongeBob, man. Like, I didn't catch on to him until I was an adult. You
Yeah.
know, when he first debuted, we were teenagers. And I think around the time we were in college, you know, we had Nickelodeon as part of that cable package in the dorms. So every now and then, you know, especially on the weeds.
Yeah, you tripping balls. Like you had to be inebriated, you know. But then you got it's like everything. You get caught. You're like, ooh, look at the undertone here. You like really deep dive into it. Yeah,
It's really cleverly done, man, and it's a perfect companion for all of that. Like my brother, I think he more so him. Like he would watch it a lot when he was younger, and I'd watch it with him. And I never forget when I was a substitute teacher. You know, it's routine work. You passing out homework, and you know every now and then you'll watch a movie or tape, whatever the teacher left behind.
yeah.
And like one of the little students, when they realized they were watching SpongeBob, he was like, "SpongeBob, a beast!"
Hell yeah, kid.
You're right, first grader, whoever you were. SpongeBob is a beast.
See, if it was me, if we go to the '90s and take that same attitude, I'd be like, man, Bobby a beast. Eek the
Fact.
cat a beast.
Ren and Stimpy, a beast.
Hell
But
yeah, dude.
still going too, man. 300 plus episodes.
And they made a movie, if I'm not mistaken, too, that went into
Yeah.
theaters.
There's a couple movies.
Yeah, I'm like you. I came into it as an adult because what we said when it came out initially, I wrote it off as some kiddie stuff. Then you get high and you watch it, and you just notice those fun things. And you also, and I'll point it out when we get to the actual specific episode, but shades of a Ren and Stimpy style too every once in a while, where they'll do a couple of like close-ups and you'll see a little gross detail of some kind.
Yeah.
So I love to see that too, but watching it now, and you know, obviously when we were in college and it was 3 a.m. and we were just steezed, love it. I can't say that I've seen nearly any percentage of the episodes, but the ones I've seen, fantastic.
Classics, man. And it's one of those cartoons where I appreciate each person in the ensemble. Of course, SpongeBob, and then Patrick, Sandy, she's a cool homegirl to have. Mr. Krabs, he's always about his paper. But as a 41-year-old, I feel like I'm
Yeah,
turning into Squidward. Just a
I think we all
misanthrope.
are, honestly.
How you pronounce misanthrope?
Yeah, I
Like,
think so. Just
yeah,
sick of it.
yeah.
Basically, that's what it over it. You know, I get it now. Okay,
I
this
get it,
is what
Squidward.
it is.
We get it, Squidward.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and filled with like talent behind the scenes too. You know, they got I didn't know Clancy freaking Brown was part of the voice acting cast, and that guy's like the villainous piece of crap and everything that he's in, like some scary guy, and then he's a voice on SpongeBob.
Ernest Borgnine was a voice on SpongeBob, dude.
Well, I guess that lines up. He was, yeah. Who was he?
He was the fictional superhero. It was Barnacle Boy and his sidekick, and I want to say he was the sidekick, if I'm not mistaken.
Dang. Is Patrick's voice the guy from Coach?
That's Dauber, Bill Fagerbait.
It had to have been.
Funny.
He's got the perfect voice. It's hilarious. That's great though. Yeah. But unappreciated by me until very like too late. But shout out to everyone involved because the fact it's still going is mind bending. The only thing
Now,
like that's The Simpsons, and that's nobody's catching up to that.
it's too late. Now, you said you're a trivia guy, right?
Yes.
Now, SpongeBob debuted on May 1st, 1999.
Yes.
There's another iconic character, very iconic character that also debuted on May 1st, but years earlier. And I'll give you a couple hints.
Okay.
We're a fan
All
of the
right.
franchise, and it's still relevant. It continues to be relevant.
Is this a cartoon?
Partially, it's a think about the character. It's a character that debuted.
Steve, I'm at least 6 bowls in today. I'm celebrating 420, but I'm just gonna take the L. I'm not as good as I thought. Who is it?
The Cape Crusader himself,
No.
May 1st on DC Comics.
What day? What was the freaking year?
1939, my friend. Comic.
It's freaking World War II. Batman.
Yeah. Detective Comics number 27. Fun fact for y'all.
There you go, guys. The more you know. But that is cool. I mean, I think I like Batman a little bit more, Steve, if I'm being honest with you.
I mean, yeah.
But that's a cool designation that they share. And, to be honest with you, I might want to hang out with SpongeBob more than I want to hang out with Batman. Batman seems like he's just like kind of a drag.
Yeah, I don't think he's about the party life. He likes to drink with his
Get it.
pinky up.
Freaking, there's all this tragedy. I get Jesus. Can we go use some of this money? Let's go get some coke. Just turn Batman into just a scumbag. Like, dude, just party, bro.
This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Naughty by Nature tapes and your Natural Born Killer posters because it's happened in the 90s, happened in the 90s, happened in the 90s, happened in the 90s.
Yeah. That was nice, Steve. Just a new song. Possibly just a whole new theme song, Steve. Season
We'll see.
whatever.
Today, my friend, we're talking all things May 1st, May Day in the 90s. Starting off in 1991, Oakland A's outfielder Ricky Henderson steals the all-time MLB record with his 939th base in a 7-4 win versus the New York Yankees in Oakland.
Man of Steel, Steve.
Yeah.
Spell it Steal, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotta be clear on that, man. And his speech after, where he announces himself as the greatest.
Ricky Henderson knows who Ricky Henderson is. He speaks in the third person, Steve, which is great. That's what I've heard about Ricky. Ricky likes to talk about Ricky. Rightfully so. I mean, the dude, was he the best leadoff hitter of all time, Steve? I mean, he's one of the greatest people to steal bases of all. He's Willie Mays Hayes in real life.
He is, man. I mean, to be the all-time steal leader, he would have to be, in my opinion, man. Ironically, he would get his 1,000th steal just a year later on May 1st, 1992.
Can I just go through some of his credentials just so everyone understands how great this guy is? Because I'm a huge Ricky Henderson fan. Love the A's. Played for the Perrysburg A's, Steve, in Little League. So we share that bond, me and Ricky. But this guy led the majors in stolen bases 12 times, was an all-star 10 times, holds the major league record for single season stolen bases with 130 in one season, which is insane.
130, bro.
Career stolen bases 1,406. Runs scored 2,295. Unintentional walks. I mean, it just keeps going and going. But those are 130 steals in a season. That's borderline insane. They know you're doing it. They're looking for it. You still did it. You're that
You
bad.
still get away with it, man. Like one of the first superstars in baseball that I knew about. I don't know. Do you remember those Kenner toy sets? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, the Ricky Henderson and the Nolan Ryan, man. And like one of these days, I like to have that in the collection. And speaking of Nolan Ryan, on that same day in 1991, Texas Ranger starter Nolan Ryan pitches his 7th no-hitter, beating Toronto 3-0.
How long was his freaking career? Because he started in 1968.
It ended in 93, I believe.
I mean, I'm not good at math, Steve, but that's almost 30 years in the league, which is insane. Like,
Yep.
how the hell did he do that?
They don't make them like that anymore. And
And he doesn't look like an athlete. He looks like a guy who would yell at you for stepping in his yard. You know,
works at AutoZone or something.
get out of here. He just laid dog shit on his porch, but was a motherfucker and didn't hesitate to throw a couple blows, Steve. We've seen the rumble. You
Throw
know,
those hands. He's the oldest to throw a no hitter at the age of 44. So there's still hope for us, Matt. We still got some athleticism somewhere.
I'm working out, Steve. I'm trying to get that scholarship. Get on the. I mean, come on, Texas. What are you guys doing? You know,
Yeah, get a walk on.
Rookie of the year, baby. Funky butt loving.
Guess who he struck out? His final out of that game. He was an all-star for the Toronto Blue Jays, and his brother was a player as well. Played for my Indians.
Fred something.
Roberto Alomar.
Oh hell yeah, Sandy, right? Was the other one. Sandy and Roberto.
Sandy. Yeah, man. Sandy was our guy. But then Roberto would eventually join the Indians. Ironically, in 1989, on August 22nd, Nolan Ryan scored his 5,000th strikeout. Guess who that strikeout was against?
You keep asking me to guess, but I'm not gonna know, Steve. So
Ricky
tell me.
Henderson.
Oh damn, that's weird. That's a little coinky dink, you know.
Yeah.
And also, just going back to Ricky, rest in peace. I had no idea he
R.I.P.
was dead, but
Yeah.
shout out Ricky, dude. Also, Ricky Henderson, born on Christmas.
And he passed away around that time too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. But shout out to Nolan Ryan's. I think still alive and well.
Still alive and well, man. Straight out of Alvin, Texas.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna throw some heat. Let me throw my heat.
On your face. That following year, 1992, Night on Earth premieres, an anthology of 5 different cab drivers in 5 American and European cities and their remarkable fares on the same eventful night. Directed by Jim Jarmusch, starring Winona Ryder, Gina Rowlands, Giancarlo Esposito, Rosie Perez, and Roberto Benigni.
This is coming to like our collegiate years, but you remember that movie Coffee and Cigarettes that we had?
Yeah.
That was made by Jim Jarmusch as well, right?
Yeah.
So is this his thing, making like little vignette movies?
Anthologies. Well, these are all my only 2 points of reference, man. So that might be his thing. I appreciate it. Night on Earth is available on HBO Max. It's just like the description, man. You know, it starts off with Winona Ryder. She's a cab driver. Her story is different than the next guy's story in New York, who's picking up Giancarlo Esposito and Rosie Perez. They have a back and forth. And then we cut to Paris. There's a guy, and, you know, it's none of their events are related, but they just had a crazy night the same night
Yeah.
as cab drivers.
So it's L.A., New York, Paris, Rome, and Helsinki are the cities.
Helsinki, yeah. And Roberto Panini, he's the cab driver in Rome. What a wild guy. Like, I feel like he would be a weird hang because he
Isn't
just
that
has
the guy that won that movie, like an Oscar for Life is Beautiful?
it went batshit crazy. Yes, that's him.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I mean, I'd love to hang out. He'll get up at the Oscars and just start marching down the fucking seat. So
Yeah.
I guarantee you gave him a joint, Steve. Roberto's probably gonna love that.
Hey,
And he's
man.
Italian. He might make you a nice sauce. You know what I'm saying?
A nice pie, nice slice. In 1996, Parenthood is airing season 2, episode 20. I Never Danced for My Mother. Nicholas decides to enter the talent show, and his classically trained mother steps in as the dance teacher. Wendell and Robert come across Zaria's diary.
That's a tough. Zaria's diary. Damn.
Yeah.
Zaria's diary. It sounds like some E4 events.
Yeah.
Just another Parenthood episode show I didn't pay attention to. Love. This is hilarious. Maybe unintentionally, but there's a couple things that I loved in this that made me laugh very hard. So we'll get right into it. We started off, I think the one boy's name is Mike, right?
Michael, he's the oldest.
So him and Zaria, they're studying, and Nicholas comes in. He's a little chubby kid, little fun kid, and he's got a talent show coming up. and he starts just like belting out a song, just basically doing what young brothers do, which is just annoy the shit out of your older siblings. At least that's what I tried to do to my older sister.
And all the kids, they start turning up. Then Jerry, she comes around and she starts dancing, but Jerry turns up a little too hard for the kids.
Doing like whirling dervish shit. It's not even like dancing, it's more like ballet, Steve. This shit's classical. It's not, you ain't going out on the dance floor doing this, you know?
By the way, Jerry is one of the hottest moms of the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, and she clearly knows how to twerk and will be able to do that at some point. We don't see it in this episode. She keeps it clean, but woman knows how to dance. Great. I mean, she's beautiful. I get it, Robert. Nicholas thought he might be able to sing for this talent show, but it veers towards dancing. And the fact that his mother's classically trained, so you'd think this is a match made in heaven, Steve.
Yeah.
Still a chubby kid up. He'll be moonwalking in no time. Win this thing.
He asked his mom, "Can you classically train me? Can you teach me something now?" So they go into a quick little ballet lesson where she's teaching him the play.
The plie, Steve.
Plie. Plie.
Well, she can go deep. She's been doing this her whole life. Even after she stopped dancing, she knows how to plie well. But Nick, he's not used to this, and his pants aren't used to this. So when he does that plie, he gets deep. So credit to the little man for having the squat skills to even do that. But fat man can't get this low, Steve, because they will rip those pants, and that's what happens to Nick.
Those Jankos ain't Jankoing them though. Yeah. Later at the dance practice, he's falling over. He's out of breath. Nicholas can't keep up.
Yeah, but Jerry's like trying to throw him into like flash dance training. He's got all like the flash dance like 80s attire that they with the warmers on and stuff. It's like, don't do this to this little kid. What are you doing?
Yeah.
She's making him like stomp. Jerry has a freaking Donatello stick. She's using like some kind of like mean old samurai guy where she's like, this is to keep time, and there's like pounding into the ground. It's very intimidating. You know?
Can I just get Urkelbot to do this for me, Mom?
Yeah. Please, because Nick's not coming to it. This isn't like bringing a horse to water, Steve. He's trying to do all these spins. He's spinning out. He's spinning through some furniture. It's just not working out. The dancing's not happening at this point. You know,
He keeps falling on that couch.
I used to do this all the time. I would just like jump and bounce off the couch, Steve. Maybe that's why I'm so fucked up in the head, but I get it. It's fun, you know. But he's not practicing wrestling moves. He's trying to dance, and it's not looking good. You know, he's not Michael Jackson. Let's put it like that.
And then we cut to Robert. He's in Zaria's room and he's supposed to be washing the windows. So he needs some assistance from his buddy Wendell. Faison comes in there with a drill that he just got from the tool shop. And it's like, this doesn't even require a drill, bro. We wash some windows.
I just need you to help me to not fall out of this window. Also has every other tool that you could possibly need to fix a house. But, you know, I don't know if Wendell even knows how to use any of those tools, but he's there. I mean, he's there to help. So thank you for that. But this window's like not staying up. So Robert has to like get out and like lean out. And Wendell's sitting there like they have to move like this desk to get to the window. They're doing this, and Wendell, as Robert's like laying out of the window, you know, I don't know how far up they are, but Steve, this could, you know, I don't know what's going on.
This could be fatal.
Exactly. Wendell's like, yo, did you know that Zaria's diary is like right here? You know? So he's scheming on that and just kind of leaves Robert out there to hang, Steve. Thank God the thing closed on his legs, but
Looked like it dropped on his nuts.
maybe it did. Robert's got some big ass nuts. You know what I'm saying? He just holds that thing up, but gets through. He gets out of the window situation. He doesn't die. Maybe needs a little cleaning, but Wendell's reading this diary, Steve. This is a breach of trust. You know, we don't like this.
Man, you can't be looking through Zaria's diary like that. Well, did you know that your daughter smokes? Wait, daughter smoking like an old chimney.
Let me go here. Thank God that's the page they found, because he's just randomly going through this. And as a dad of a daughter, I can only imagine that maybe that's probably the best case scenario of like bad things your daughter's doing.
especially a
'Cause
hot
God
daughter.
exactly. So God forbid you turn it to that wrong page, and you're just like, "My baby, no."
Wendell's like, "What you need is a snitch." A snitch? I'm a parent, not a detective. And then it goes to one of Robert's classic dream sequences.
This is it, Steve. This is so good. Shout out to Faison Love's wig, which is
Yeah.
hilarious that they make a thing. But why is Robert doing this crazy accent? Is this from a movie? I was like, is this it has to be from a movie or something?
I
Like
mean, because he's bald, I'm guessing he's supposed to be Telly Savalas.
maybe but it sounds weird. It almost sounds like he's making some kind of weird like he's doing a racist impersonation of somebody, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
almost like who Carl Winslow's Indian. It's weird
Mm.
because he's like holding on to shit. I don't know where it's from, but that first of all, they're getting Cece, who's like the little girl. They're interrogating the shit out of her, like, where were you?
Yeah.
It's a little girl.
You know, she's a tough cookie. You know what they say about tough cookies. Yeah, if you wrap them in aluminum foil and reheat them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, they'll regain their freshness. That's not what I'm talking about.
Robert brings out like this bag of candy, and he's like, I can't even do the accent. I don't even know what it is, but Cece immediately gives up some information for this candy because she's a little kid. I would too. And then Zaria is brought in. First thing they do, Steve, this is smart. Offer her a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, I like how when she first comes in, she's like, I told you guys I don't know anything. And then Wendell's like, yeah, we know. We saw your report card.
She's like, no, I don't want a cigarette. Ew. And he's like, oh, well, you wouldn't mind if I dump out your backpack. That's what it is. He's just like, backpack.
It kind of sounds like a Sidney Poitier
Almost.
impression.
It kind I again, I don't know, it's just weird. But they dump out this backpack, Steve, and college Matt, I'd be in love with Zaria because she's got her backpack, high school Matt too,
Yeah.
more appropriately. She's got a backpack full of cigarettes and other cool stuff like blunts, Steve. I saw a backwoods.
Yeah, I saw some backwoods, bro.
I was like, this bitch smoking weed, y'all. Fuck the
Shit.
cigarettes, but you know,
What
they
hand
don't
you
know
roll up?
that. But I mean, it's like, did you rob like a tobacco store? It's that level of like tobacco shit. And then I love that for no reason at all. Wendell just is like, I know it's a toupee, man.
I thought your head was moving.
But great sequence. When just the whole thing is like, I feel like they're laughing, like they're breaking character throughout the thing too. You can see them just like laughing at each other for not the right reasons. So do they do this? Like they do that kind of thing. I don't remember that specifically, but this one I'm gonna
The
remember.
dream sequence, it's in every episode. That's like the part that I always look forward to because they're always just silly and nonsensical, man.
I love that.
Cutting out of the dream sequence, Zaria, she shows up in the room and they're like, "What are you doing here?" It's my room. And so Robert tries to create a diversion, like, you know what? You need to check out these new shelves I got in your closet. Yeah, yeah. Then he shoves her in the closet and shuts the door. And like Wendell, he like goes onto the bed and starts reading the diary, like, dude,
Yeah.
no, what are you doing?
Yeah, I like that. He's like, yeah, put it where it goes. And he just sits down and is like, yeah, motherfucker. He does the Big Lebowski, shut the thing. Zaria comes out and is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because I mean, she was locked in a closet for 10 seconds. And then he's like, oh, well, I just wanted you to see what it looked like on the inside.
Yeah. Cut back to the dance practice, and Jerry says, I'm going to teach you a move that's a showstopper. Step 2, 3, 4, spin, and bam.
Stomping, popping. But Nick, he's not getting it again, Steve. He's not a natural dancer. I'm not saying he couldn't be. I'm not saying he couldn't be the greatest, but right now it's not happening. So instead of Jerry seeing this and being like, all right, maybe this isn't your thing. Like, let's walk on like a cabbage patch or something, figure that out first. She's like, we're going to train twice a day from now on. So make sure you get this. And Nick's like, yeah, great. Oh, fuck, I gotta
Running 2 a days and shit. And then cut to the next scene, and Michael, he's in the kitchen, and as he goes to the cabinet to get some peanut butter, that's what it was. Nicholas is in the cabinet, and he hands him the peanut butter. It's like, dude, what are you doing down here? I'm hiding from mom. It's time for another dance lesson, and she's killing me, bro.
She keeps hitting me in the kneecaps with that bow staff, man. So Nick, he even told Cece in the previous scene, he's like, I don't want to dance ever again because of this shit. I'm sick of this. So he's hiding like Ralphie's little brother in Christmas Story, trying to just not eat the peanut butter but not be found. And then I think, does he leave or does Jerry come in and Mike has the one-to-one with his mom?
Well, he's like, before he leaves, he tells Mike that, man, next time I hide, I'm gonna be in the girls' room, but don't tell mom. Mike tells Nicholas, like, why don't you just ask her to stop or whatever? He's like, well, I see how much fun she's having.
Yeah, because that's I was like, it's something really like sweet where he's like, man, I don't want to like disappoint her and make her feel bad, but so he goes up and hides, and then Jerry comes in looking for Nicholas, and Mike's like, hey, you should talk to him about this, like maybe this isn't he doesn't want to be doing this, and he kind of like sets her straight where he's like, yeah, like you're going a little crazy on this kid, we're giving him too many tasty cakes to be doing 2-a-days.
Well, you never know. He might be the greatest dancer ever, and that's what it takes. He might surprise us. Yeah, kind of like how he surprised me when he was hiding in the cabinet. What was he doing hiding in the cabinet? Well, he says you're killing him, Mom. You need to chill out.
What'd you say? She gets that bow staff right up on him. She's like, oh.
Well, where's he hiding now? I can't tell you. Well, he's in the girls' room, just over to the right. You know where it is.
Mom, you broke the damn show. So now we cut to Zaria's room, and Jerry's trying to find Nicholas. And basically, she thinks he's hiding in like a closet. So she goes through like this impassioned like speech, apology, acknowledgement thing. And then basically, as she's finishing it, Nicholas comes in like through the doors, like, hey, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah.
And so that was all for nothing. But it is very sweet. Her parents knew she could cha-cha when she was wearing diapers. She gave up her love of dance whenever she started a family with no regrets, Steve.
No regrets. She loves all her babies.
When she heard about this, it kind of like inflamed her passions for dancing, and that she got messed up, and she apologizes for that. So now Nick's heard none of that. He comes in and he wants to tell her something because they're coming to the same realization at the same time, Steve.
Yeah.
Their own personal realization. They're coming in right at the right moment.
And Jerry tells him, we don't have to do the dance lesson today. And Nick's like, yes. But you know what, Mom? I'm still going to do the spin.
I'm going to do it, Ma. And he almost breaks the bed because this is what I used to do is just bounce on the end of the bed and bounce back up. But Nicholas doesn't bounce back up. He's just like, oh man. Yeah, but I mean, dude, he dances, and this is like saying something about my dancing skills, still better than me. Still more rhythm than I have, Steve. So shout out.
Wendell and Robert, they come into the kitchen. They see that Zaria's book bag is sitting there. And Wendell's like, man, we should check it out. It's like, dude,
Why are you so cool with doing this shit, man?
Yeah. It's like, look, man, my mom, when I came home from school, she used to turn me upside down and empty my pockets. It's like she must have been a heavy lifter. She still does it to this day.
Also, shout out because Ray, when they're coming in, they're talking about Friday, which I love.
Did catch that, yeah.
But Wendell does have, this is the best and most ethical thing he said because it's common sense. He's like, look, man, if she's smoking, you don't got to look anywhere. You're going to smell it, and that's true. And I, as somebody who tried to hide smoking from my parents for the longest time as a teenager, I thought I was doing a good job, but no, you weren't. Mints,
they knew that.
You still smell like cigarettes and mints and cologne,
Pretty much.
They knew. Yes.
You smell like all of the above.
Go to a bowling alley and then chew a whole pack of fucking Trident? What's going on here? Zaria comes in. Wendell and Robert just get to sniffing on her, Steve, which I don't like that. That's got to be a little more subtle than just being like,
your hair looks nice. Use a new shampoo. Clothes smell nice. New detergent.
She's like, why are you smelling me? Which is a weird thing to have to ask your dad and uncle. I don't like that.
Robert places the blame on Wendell. Like Wendell was reading your diary. Right before you did too.
He throws Wendell right under the bus. And she's like, I only smoked one cigarette. I didn't even like it. And she's like, well, if you read anything else, you'd know that. But you only read that one thing. I don't like that. That's not cool.
I
And
was coughing and gagging.
ugh.
Maybe you should switch brands.
Yeah, true, Wendell. Maybe go to Parliament late. You might be a smoother field. Robert apologizes. He's broken their trust. But Zara's just like, whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't smoke, you know. But if you got one, I wouldn't mind one right now because I'm stressed out. She doesn't say that.
Wow.
But she does tell Robert, she's like, if you could just ask me instead of sneaking around and reading a bunch of weird shit like a creep and trying to smell me.
By the way, Zaria, you still got that crush on your science teacher? Wendell! So we cut to the talent show, and Nicholas is backstage with his mom, and he's like, "I hope I don't embarrass you."
That's a sweet thing for a kid to say. That's heartbreaking. I don't want to embarrass you, Mom. Fucking god damn it, Nicholas. That's tough. As the parent here, when you know your kid's about to just eat a hot bag of shit, it's got to be just like, let's just go, man. Let's just go. It's gonna be better. 20 years from now, you're gonna thank me.
And then this is what I wanted to cover the episode for, man. Like the teacher announces him, he comes out, and Nicholas is out there. He's crumping, he's gyrating, he's doing the whatever the fuck exorcism, man. And then he does his spin, his magical spin that we don't get to see, or do we get to see it? It's like
I mean,
partially shown.
it's kind of they slow mo the end, so we get to see like the beginning and end of it. But we do see like because he even throws like he does like a little mic thing at the end too, which I love.
All the adults are clapping like, man, y'all don't see how horrible this is.
They're just like, man, this kid is screwed. Just give him
He-
this, guys. Give him
Dude,
this.
they had to mute that studio audience because I know somebody was fucking rolling
I mean,
seeing this.
if we were we would have been kicked out.
Oh, look at this fat kid.
You know how loud I say, look
This fat motherfucker. Look at
at that motherfucker go!
this butterball motherfucker. Oh man.
Jacks. He's doing damn jumping jacks. All of our favorite kid shows. I guess somebody's got to help these kids to dance. And you know what? At least he got it out of his system. Now he knows, Steve. So from now on, he just won't throw that spin in. He's good to go. Because this,
Yeah. That what the fuck?
he's having a put a goddamn wallet in his mouth. He's seizing up.
Man. But yeah, dude,
That's wild. Great call out though, because that's fantastic. That's right up there with Goo Punch dancing. But then we see more. This isn't the end of the dancing, Steve, because during the credits we see Jerry busting loose at the end on stage. Everyone's gone home, but Robert, Nick, they're watching her just, I guess, doing some ballet stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. There's some Cirque du Soleil action going on up there. Pretty nice.
if it's Jerry, I could watch that all day.
She's hot, Steve, but is she the hottest? I don't know.
For me, she's up there. She's up there for sure.
I'll get back to you on that.
On that same day in 1996, I Shot Andy Warhol premieres, a story of Valerie Solanas, a 60s radical who preached misandry in her Scum Manifesto. She wrote a screenplay for a film that she wanted Andy Warhol to produce, but after he repeatedly ignored her, she shot him. Directed by Mary Herron, starring Lily Taylor, Jared Harris, Martha Plimpton, and Stephen Dorff.
I have never seen this, Steve. Other than Dorf, I'm not in. I'm a big Dorf fan, but everyone else.
Dude, Stephen Dorff plays a cross-dresser. I don't know how familiar you are with the Andy Warhol universe, but there was a famous cross-dresser that was like one of his muses named Candy Darling.
Yeah.
And such a tragic, a lot of these players in this story had a tragic ending, man. You know, she would eventually take her own life in the early 70s, I believe, And this movie was actually pretty funny, man. The main character, Valerie Solanas, she's like this man hating lesbian. And this was in the 70s, late 60s, going into the 70s. But what was interesting is that, like, to make ends meet, she would have to turn tricks. So even though she's a man hating lesbian, sometimes she would have to get on her knees, drop trowel. Sometimes she got to put on a show. There's this one scene where this guy's like, "Man, I know you're a lesbian, but like, can I see how you do it?" So he pays her $25 to like see her like scissoring with another chick, and he's just in the corner, just like
Taking
slapping
note.
the Slim Jim.
I'm just trying to see mechanic. He was a scientist, Steve. He's like, honestly, I just don't understand the mechanics. So please, here's
Yeah,
$25. I just want to see how it works.
her scum manifesto, it's so horrible. Like, they're basically laughing her out of Andy Warhol's studio. Like, and the thing about this too, I didn't realize how accessible celebrities were. This is before like people had security. Like, she's just pulling up on Andy like every day. She's calling him. She's going like walking to the studio, and he's turning like, yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. I'll get to it. It's one of those deals. But like by the time they like get to it, they just like make fun of her, man, and belittle her. And she gets to the point where it's like, you know what? I got something for y'all. And just it's kind of like Selena's manager, jealousy, and she's seeing all these other people come up and she's going nowhere.
And she's not part of the group either.
She,
Like it's that weird. And didn't like the scum man? That's like an actual thing that outlived her though. Like people still like
yeah.
like isn't that like like a feminist thing or something?
Oh, it's a
It's
staunch
a feminist
feminist
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's because there's feminists and then there's like her. She's like to the point of like all men are scum. They're
So
useless.
she's the farthest of far whatever feminism. She's like the radicalist,
Yeah.
cut their nuts off type person.
But
Probably.
at the same time, she depended on men to stay alive.
He's goddamn. Let me give me 20. I'll blow you, sailor.
Yeah. So
Watch me, scissor. Whatever.
what a
Isn't
conundrum.
Martha Plimpton in this?
She plays the lesbian best friend, and eventually she gets fed up. Like, dude, get your shit and get up out of here. I can't.
The
So the lady
scissor
ended
is
up.
great, but all this other shit I can't handle. It's Scum Manifesto. Just get down here. Don't just look at it, eat it. Okay?
And the real Valerie, she'd eventually die penniless and homeless, man. Like I said, unfortunate.
Pretty cool people in it too. Like Michael Imperioli's in it. Justin
Yeah.
Theroux's in it. This must have been one of his first movies, actually. Um, uh, yeah, but I'm just not interested in that. The Andy Warhol thing. I know it's kind of cool and artsy and stuff, but I never really went too deep into it. But now I might have to because it seems kind of scuzzy.
Very interesting world that they lived in, man. But that following year, 1987, the final episode of Martin airs on Fox. California, Here We Come. 5 seasons, man. 132 episodes.
It's the end of an era, Steve.
Yeah.
The giant
And
need to go to sleep.
I didn't want to cover it because, like I said, man, it wasn't funny, and it was the end. I hate when something just abruptly ends because I feel like that's what happened with Martin. Like, they had to wrap it up because him and Gina couldn't be in the same scene together. So, like, how are you going to continue this? We can't keep like making these failed spinoffs with Pam. Like, what are we going to do? Try to do like focus on Cole next season?
He's got nothing but the hat, Martin. We can't do this. Gina won't. You got a split screen every episode. She can't be on the phone every time. You guys are having a long distance relationship.
But they did have some cameos in the end. They had George Clinton show up, Lisa Leslie, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, and Lou Rawls.
You gotta have some cameos, Steve. It sucks they
I
didn't
do.
have. This should have been like if it was really the last episode and everybody was cool, it would have been so much better. Or
Way better, man.
just like a tribute episode that we all wanted. But you're right. It's cool to talk about it, but it's not what we want. This isn't how I choose to remember the Martin Show. You know what I mean?
That following year, 1998, he got game premieres. A basketball player's father must try to convince him to go to a college so he can get a shorter sentence. Directed by Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington, Ray Allen, Mila Jovovich, and Rosario Dawson.
I forgot Mila Jovovich was in this movie, which is just weird, but
Kind of random.
yeah, I love this movie. Denzel's Ray Allen's dad. He's in jail. Ray Allen is one of the coolest names ever for a character, Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
He's LeBron, basically. He's coming out of high school. Everybody wants him. He's not going to the pros, so all these colleges are trying to get him to go. Everybody's selling him. He's getting all these. He's going to visits, but his dad's in jail, and I think the warden or the governor or somebody's like, "Hey, if you can get him to go to my alma mater, you're going to get out of jail. I'll do you a favor." Basically,
For Spike Lee movies, I would say this is mid for me.
yeah. Oh, it's totally mid, but Steve,
It's not bad.
it's not bad at all, and it has one of the greatest threesome scenes. I mean, it's even above Wild Things. To be honest with you, this stuck with me for a long time.
It's like, damn, I should
And,
have tried harder in
and
sports.
Jesus is a great name to have when you're fucking the shit out of people because it just it adds to it. So shout out to the sex scenes. Shout out to
Chituro?
yeah, exactly. He plays a great scummy coach in this. There's some basketball in it. We get to see him doing one on one with his dad because Denzel's sort of portrayed as like this dad who was just like anything to make your son good at basketball, pushing him, beating him up on the court and stuff. So it tells a great story. It's just a little slow, you know.
Yeah, 90, actually 134 minutes, I believe. I think the movie was a little too long, but this was the first Spike Lee movie to not have Spike Lee in a cameo.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
remember him being in it, but that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go down the thing. So Rosario Dawson, that's great. I think this is a great sports movie in general, but one of those where like any given Sunday does this too, where it's almost like this behind the scenes stuff is like the priority. Like the actual game itself isn't exactly like you're not seeing them win games and shit that much.
Yeah, they're focusing on other parts of the story.
I think Jennifer Esposito's in this movie too as like a sexy somebody, and I love that. So shout out to Jennifer Esposito. She's a hot whatever she is.
Yeah, she's a hot 90s hottie. um Kobe Bryant was originally picked to play the role of Jesus Shuttlesworth, but he had other engagements or other um things on this platter, man. Like this was the summer of 97 when they shot this, and they just lost to the Jazz in the playoffs. So Kobe, being Black Mamba, being in Mamba mode, he's like, man, I need to focus on my hoops, and I just can't dedicate this kind of time that y'all need.
Ray Allen hit a three and was like, "I'll take that check."
Pretty much, man. And like he actually offered the role to Stephon Marbury and Allen Iverson too, but neither of them wanted to audition. They didn't even want to like do like give it to me. That was their mentality. Whereas like Ray Allen, he was all aboard.
It's crazy to me that this was the first movie that Spike Lee had that opened like as number one at the box office.
That is
Would have
wild.
thought that would have happened like at least with like Malcolm X or something prior to this.
Do
And
the right thing.
yeah, so that's crazy, but it's worth a watch. I don't think you're gonna walk away saying, "Oh, that's my favorite movie or Spike Lee movie," but yeah, as far as sports movies goes, especially ones that's headed by an athlete, it's great. I mean, really, other than that, you're getting like Blue Chips and Space Jam. There's not a lot else to go off of with that, but
White man can't jump.
true that.
Finally, 1999, SpongeBob SquarePants debuts on Nickelodeon. Season 1, Episode 1, Help Wanted, Reef Blower, and Tea at the Treedome. SpongeBob attempts to fulfill his dream of working at the Krusty Krab, and then SpongeBob meets a squirrel named Sandy and goes to extreme lengths in an attempt to impress her.
This
Here
is
we
where it
are.
started, Steve. Under the sea. My thing was, I didn't remember the show being segmented out like this. I thought it was just like an episode. It wasn't like Ren and Stimpy where you got like little vignettes.
That seems to be Nickelodeon's thing, though. I mean, with Rugrats, with Doug, Rocco's Modern Life, like I think they do that with just about all of them, man. Waited for this day, man, because this is as an adult, like I realized, man, this is one of the dopest cartoons ever.
Well, and it just the talent, dude. Tom Kenny is a beast, you know.
True.
And I wanted to bring this up. It's just something I didn't find this out myself. I don't want to take credit, but Kendra told me this cool fact, and it is true. Tom Kenny and his wife were in the Smashing Pumpkins Tonight video. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I did know they met on set doing a another sketch comedy on Fox that we covered like last year.
But what a quintessential music video of the '90s to also just be a random like actor. You know, I'm sure he's like in the silent film portion someplace in the background, but very cool, dude. And everybody else, like I said, Clancy Brown, you got like this movie star villain guy to come and do this show, which is super cool. I mean, the guy's got a great voice for like doing this, but it almost seems like something whenever you get this kind of talent, like it's gonna succeed, even if it's ridiculous. Like, and this is a great example of that. It's on paper, this sounds stupid as hell.
We get that Jacques Cousteau introduction. We hear this for the first time. The sea is so fascinating, so wonderful. And we're introduced to SpongeBob, who's just waking up, and it's his big day. It's the big day, Gary.
Gary is his pet snail. Just, you know, it's like his little dog. But this is the day, Steve. The Krusty Krab is got a help wanted sign, and this is the day he's been training for his whole life.
Got to be in top physical condition. He's got to lift the weights, got to hit the treadmill, all that.
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep me down.
Need a montage.
As SpongeBob's like getting off, he's preparing. He's fully prepared. He goes
He's
out.
ready.
It's ready to go, and he does what I used to do, just chicken out. He's like, you know what, I'm good. But as he's chickening out, his boy, his number one, Patrick, is like, SpongeBob, you're not chickening out. You're meant for this. This is your destiny, dude.
You're going to go there and you're going to get the job. You
Who
were
made a
built for it.
spatula in a wood shop? Who's a big
You.
yellow cube with holes? Who's a winner?
You.
He's like, what's his face? Stuart Smalley, Steve of the Sea. It's good
It-
enough.
the home of the Krabby Patty. And he sees that help wanted sign. It's like, oh my God, not him again.
Yeah, Squidward and Mr. Crab see him coming a mile away. They're like, this freaking guy. This guy's always coming in here and clogging the freaking toilets with his gigantic
Yeah.
BMs. So they decide, you know what? We're going to fuck with this guy because he wants a job. Well, they're like, okay, you can have this job. But here's the thing, we're going to need something. And they think of this impossible thing that I thought they were just making up, Steve. It just seemed like a mad lib of things that they were just trying to get him to run after for no reason, you know?
We need you to get this spatula with the attachments.
Hydrodynamic spatula with port and starboard attachments and a
Yeah.
turbo drive, Steve. So this thing, it's going to cost a pretty penny. He's got no job, so I don't know where he's getting the money for this. But go get it, Steve. This is making the band. I'm going to
Yeah.
need some breast milk.
The fuck is a sugar cookie, man? So SpongeBob, with that can-do attitude, he goes out to get this sought after spatula, and they're just like, man, we got over on him, didn't we? Soon after SpongeBob leaves, here comes a whole mob of anchovies that just pack the place.
Buses, smells, just just a lot of shenanigans. The anchovies are coming in; they're a menace. Mr. Crab and Squidward, they're like, "Oh Jesus!" You know, an extra hand would have been great, but they sent SpongeBob off to do whatever, God knows what, and it's getting hectic in there. You know, these anchovies, they're not fucking around. This is going to be
If,
on whatever the equivalent of World Star is on the internet and the sea. It's going to get bad.
if they don't get Krabby Patties, they're going to eat them.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know anchovies were this like crazy. I thought they were just they just fucked up a pizza, you know?
Yeah, made it smell bad. As the riot is getting on, man, SpongeBob returns and he's flying in the air or flying in the sea air. He's
He's
yeah,
penguining, Steve. Like he's coming in. If it wasn't, it's not an umbrella. But those attachments make this spatula into it's like an all-in-one, just like James Bond device, you know?
Like that hydrodynamic spatula with the attachments and the turbo drive, and he flies into the kitchen. And SpongeBob is a natural. He's flipping those patties. He's got the lettuce divided. He's got the tomato slices, the cheese, everything, and he's
He's
just
getting the
serving them,
toppings right
serving them.
too. He's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's all, I mean, it's coming together. This is where opportunity meets preparation, Steve. We've heard it all from Coach K, all the greats. SpongeBob was doing that every day. He went in there to get a Krabby Patty. He figured it out, you know?
How does that saying go? Act like you already have the job in order to get the job,
I don't
or
know if
something,
that's how they say it, but you said it, and it applies to this episode.
something like that.
Hell yeah. But he does it, Steve. He's in there making freaking sandwiches like Shaggy. He's shuffling cold cuts, Krabby Patties. He's throwing freaking he's paperboying Krabby Patties into these anchovies' mouths, Steve. I don't know how they're getting the money from them because it's just a crowd of anchovies, but somehow the transactions are happening. And instead of calling a number, he's just like, bam, just right into a mouth, an open mouth.
Some of them are probably overfed, and at the end of the day, Mr. Krabs, he counts that money because he's about that money.
He's got clams galore. He's got a knot, Steve. He can't bear. He needs a wheelbarrow to take all that cash away. And he's like, you know what? I've seen everything I need to know. SpongeBob, you got the gig, son. But
Yeah.
Squidward's like, hey man, I'm like the assistant man. Like he doesn't have any say in it. And I honestly, why would you? This kid can machine gun out a Krabby Patty. He cleared the room, Steve. But now we see, unfortunately, that now that it's all clear and it's one a small order, this spatula he's got's not really meant to do that because Patrick comes in, just order one Krabby Patty, but you hit that attachment button, it's like nitrous on a car in Fast and Furious, Steve. You're going through the wall. So I think he probably almost killed Patrick with a couple of errant Krabby Patties.
The next segment is Reef Blower, and this has no talking at all.
Yeah, I blow a little reef every once in a while, if you know what I'm talking about.
Maybe that's what they're. Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is, Steve.
Yeah.
It's an illusion, an intrusion. But Squidward's coming out. He's got a beautiful lawn. Pristine, except for one little reefette. I don't know what this thing is. It looks like chewed bubble gum.
Yeah. And SpongeBob, he sees this thing on his lawn too, and he gets his reef blower, and he blows it away. But not just the reef, all of the debris that came with it is falling onto Squidward.
Yeah, it's a whole thing with SpongeBob. He blows it; it goes the wrong way. He turns his machine on from blow to suck. It goes crazy, and then it just ends. Like he just the thing blows up. It causes a whole kerfuffle, and Squidward's left with way more just schmutz in his yard, but you know what? He deserves it.
Curmudgeon. And finally, we got the tea at the Treedome. And SpongeBob, he has his glasses on, and he sees that this squirrel is struggling with the clam that's trying to eat her. It's like, wait, what is this thing fighting this clam? He pulls out the dictionary. He's like, oh, a land squirrel.
Oh yeah, never met one of those before. So before the squirrel gets eaten, like I don't really know what it's just gonna, I guess, keep you in there. But she's getting trapped by this clam, getting kind of in a fight. It's rough and tumble. It's getting Fight Club down there. And SpongeBob, not only does he see just like this weird land squirrel, but you know what, Steve? I think he sees a hot babe too. Because SpongeBob, he's a young man about town. She's like, yeah, that chick looks cool. She's got a weird glass bulb on her head. She's hanging out.
Yeah.
What's this chick all about?
Never seen squirrel chicks around here. But he goes down there, he saves the day, or tries to, helps her fight that clam, opens up the clam, and she gets out and she introduces herself. Hi, what's your name? I'm Sandy.
Sandy, dude. Loves being under the sea as a land squirrel. Also loves a nice karate chop, Steve. She's a killing machine.
Yeah, she chopped the fuck out that rock.
I mean, she'll just like fucking Urkelbot last week, dude. If there was a coat hanger there, she'd be like, zip.
I like you, SpongeBob. We could be tighter than bark on a tree.
they're buddies, Steve. Oh, they just make fast friends, save each other's life from this really just shitty clam, you know. But she's like, "Hey, maybe you come over sometime." And I'm thinking, "Are you gonna go above like or on land?" But we don't know that yet. But SpongeBob, he gets an invite over to her place for some tea. New buddy. This is it.
And on his way there, he sees Patrick. He's like, Patrick, I met a new girl. She wears this air helmet. She puts on the airs. Don't worry about it. That's what they all do. You know, if you want to be fancy, you got to think fancy and just always put your pinky up.
I do this all my whole life inadvertently, Steve, because I am fancy naturally. So good advice. SpongeBob hasn't really thought this through too much. This whole air thing. So it might come up. But we go to Sandy's. Sandy lives actually under the sea, Steve, which is dope. This is great. This is like some sort of doomsday thing. She's she gets him in. SpongeBob comes into some sort of airlock, and then as I'm saying to myself, how is she living? Does she just live with this glass bowl on her head constantly? All the water comes out, and she's created some sort of air bubble under the sea, Steve, and welcomes SpongeBob into a just an almost dry environment, which is weird. He's not used to
He's a sponge out of water.
that.
And, and SpongeBob, he notices this instantly. He's like, "Wait, there's no water." He's like, "Of course not, silly. There's nothing but air." It's like, "Oh yeah, I love air."
Air is awesome, dude. One time I almost OD'd on that. Air is great. Let me get some of that. So now he's trying to hide his discomfort because SpongeBob is a sponge. So no water. He's drying out, Steve, quickly.
Yeah, he's looking sick. And
How does she have? Because they show a sun, Steve, and I'm wondering the squirrel has some sort of artificial sun. I don't know, but it's wreaking havoc on SpongeBob's like exterior. He's getting verklempt. He's starting to get a cotton mouth, Steve. The more I think about it, they might have just toked up. This might be just some sort of alliteration here.
it's very possible, man. One of the great things about this show, and he's starting to lose his teeth. He's will turn away, Matt.
He's starting to look like the couple at the end of Beetlejuice when they
Yeah.
open a seance. They're getting all crispy. SpongeBob has flowers, so she has to go get water to put these flowers in. So he's sitting there and he's trying to figure this out. He's constantly freaking out, having a panic attack. Like, I got to get out of here. He's trying to find water, get out, but then he doesn't want to look like a douche, Steve. And we've all been there where you're just like, I don't like this at all, but I got to stay.
Yeah, and you end up trying too hard and making yourself look like even more of a douche.
Exactly. And that's what he's doing. He's drying up. He's looking. I mean, get this guy a water. He takes the water from the flowers at some point, or maybe at first there's she brings
There's,
something else, and he just lays in it.
well, there's hesitation at first when she lays the vase in front of him because he's looking at it like, "No, dude, don't be a quitter." And then she goes to get the Texas tea that she made, and that's when he just goes in.
Yeah. But it's not enough. I mean, it's a little bit, it helps him out a little bit. He gets through a little bit more. But this is where we get one of these close ups I was talking about. Because at a certain point, when he's at his driest, we zoom into his eyes. It's all just rashy and ashy, Steve.
Because he's
Very,
on a Molly or something.
he is. I mean, he definitely is. He's here to have some fun. He can't help himself at one point. I think she leaves again. He's trying to get out. He's trying to escape. He's trying to undo something. And Patrick has been scheming on him from the bubble, outside the bubble. He sees all this and quickly just gets in. He's like, dude, don't fuck this up, bro.
Don't be a
You
quitter.
almost had it. You're good. But then SpongeBob's trying to tell him, dude, he sounds like he's got emphysema at the end of this. And Patrick even starts. He's drying up, Steve. He's not used to this.
Because at first he's like, "Oh, don't worry, buddy, I got you," and he's carrying SpongeBob, and he just quickly loses all of his breath. He's like, "Oh, I can't take," and then that's when Sandy comes out. She sees both of them are basically like a sponge and a real starfish.
Just dried out, just nasty with it. So she's like, wait, what the hell? So she gets them like in. She puts like she's got a couple extra bowls, right? So she throws those on their head, fills them with some Texas tea, gets them a little more hydrated. It's like, hey guys, I didn't like. You should have just again what we just saw on Parenthood. You should have just said something,
Yeah.
right? It's just that over and over again. You should have just said something, or we would have been cool. We could have been hanging out. I got a gravity bong you could throw your head in. You could soak up all of that water and get high at the same time.
Yeah.
Come on,
Maybe next time.
it's party.
So they have a toast to some Texas tea, but Patrick and SpongeBob can't even drink it because they got those water bowls on their heads. So next level thinking Sandy, she's like, I got something for y'all. She takes the tea bags and puts them in the water bowl.
Tasty. But then, you got to just be cool with it because you're going to dry out again. But Sandy's cool, Steve. She could hang.
Yeah, man. This is another one of those debut episodes where it's a proper introduction of all the main characters, man.
We find out everything we need to know and nothing more. It's just entertaining and we're good to go. So in that way, I totally agree with you. Perfect writing for an intro. Remember that show Wonder Shows in that MTV did? That was like an adult puppet show.
We were ready for that.
Exactly, but I'm saying like that on weed,
Yeah.
way better. So, yeah, as an adult, it's cool, and I've got so much to catch up on. It's great to know that this show's good because I haven't seen a percentage of it, so I'll definitely be able to watch some and enjoy that what I haven't seen yet.
I think we have like a small window of opportunity for this show, man, because I think they aired like a couple more episodes in '99, and then it would continue to the 2000s and the 2010s and all of that, man. But any callbacks today, man?
I'm gonna just shout out because we didn't talk about it. Black Dog, Steve, the Swayze
Oh,
semi truck movie, and it's okay because I we don't. Did you watch it?
I had no way of watching it this time.
Okay. So I just want to shout this out because first of all, when Steve told me what this was, I thought it was Ghost Dog, not Black Dog. I thought it was the other movie with the Jim Jarmusch movie. But this, I watched some of like the previews, what I could on YouTube. Remembered this. I did not own this, but Steve, this is, and I want to point this out only for this. There was a fascination in the 80s and 90s with semi truck drivers. Um, Stallone had Over the Top, where he
I
was an
love
arm
that movie.
wrestler. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And just like Over the Top, Steve, this movie catches up on you because we got Swayze. We got, I don't like Randy Travis, but we got him in this. Meatloaf. And it's just a nice, like, uh, thriller, almost like that Kurt Russell movie, I think it's called Breakdown or something, where his wife gets kidnapped and like he has to find her. It's a
Okay.
good movie, but very semi truck related, very Swayze related. And I say all this to bring a question to you: is Swayze more of an? Would you even call him a '90s icon? He's an '80s icon for sure. But do
I
you
would.
call him because of Ghost? I mean, that's a '90s movie, right?
Tu Wong Fu has a huge following, so yes.
Okay, well there you go.
Uh,
I think the '80s a little more so, but I'll give you that. And there had to
I
be more. It wasn't just Ghost and Tu Wong Fu, but I know we lost him early, but I love me some Swayze, dude. Swayze gets it.
those were two of his most iconic roles in the '90s, and I think you could throw in the SNL episode because that's iconic too. But I agree that if we're talking about picking a decade, his bread and butter was in the '80s. The Outsiders, Roadhouse. Uh,
Point Break. I mean, that was the '90s, I think. So that's a big one. That's a huge one for me because I like that. To me was when I was like, this guy's cool as hell. The other ones like Dirty Dancing, I get it.
Dirty
But
Dancing,
I
yeah.
wasn't like a huge. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like Flashdance. We're like this. Where this is beyond me. I don't. This doesn't. I can't get it.
Jennifer Grey's hot, if that helps. But
I mean, for sure. But that's a lot to say. But I'm going to just say Black Dog, and out of 10, I'm giving it a 6. That's not great, but when we're talking semi truck centric movies, I feel like this is up at the top of that category. You know, it's this and over the top, really.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like saying the smartest kid in the shortest class.
I mean, Duel, the first Steven Spielberg's first movie, that's very semi truck forward because it's chasing them. So there's a few movies like this, Steve. We're gonna have to go back and look, but I think Fortune and History shines well on Black Dog. It doesn't get the appreciation it should get.
It's about semi trucks. Come on, like
It's got Randy Travis and Meatloaf in it,
you
Steve,
just said, you don't even care about Randy Travis. Why are you bringing this to your point?
because he has the greatest DUI tape that you'll ever see. Okay, he's a country boy who knows how to drive a truck, and it works. But you know what? If nothing else, shout out Swayze. Rest in peace to a legend. You might
Yeah,
not be the
man.
'90s legend, but
Sway's dog.
we'll keep you in there. But what about you, Steve? Other than Swayze?
1990 Wonder Years airs Coco and Sympathy. Paul has a crush on Kevin's mom. That was hilarious.
Nice.
91 Doogie Howser dances with Wanda. Donkey Lips makes another cameo appearance for a very small scene. And also that following year, Wonder Years, the house that Jack built. So the oldest daughter, she moves out to college, and the family finds out that she's living with her dude. They thought it was a roommate. But the boyfriend is played by David Schwimmer, and
Oh my god!
yeah, like
I'd be
man,
pissed if my daughter was dating her. I could only, dude. Also, the dad. If that would be a terrifying dad to come at you, because I feel like that guy would probably just beat the shit out of you.
I was scared for him in this, man. 90, 94, Martin is airing No Love Lost, and that's the one with the Snoop Dogg cameo, and Randall Cunningham makes an appearance. He's like, no, I'm not Warren Moon, I'm the other one. Uh, in 95, Fresh Prince is airing Cold Feet, Hot Body, and Robin Givens has a cameo in that one. Just God, dog. But
Beautiful, but she's a temptress, Steve. She's a siren. Only
yeah,
disaster falls those that go to Robin Givens.
man, that's an opportunity I wouldn't mind taking. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister. Check out Food Show Fanatics. Our guy Ronzilla, Wrestling Ronzilla, Kendra, Crushgasm every Wednesday, and our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle. This is Steve G and Matt G with
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s.